It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Thursday show, December 7th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Matt. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, the Fox local app. If you are watching live, if you're watching on YouTube, hello everybody out there in YouTube land. Subscribe to Woodward Sports, less than 100 subscribers away from 57,000 on this platform. Hit that like button as well. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon to you. Feeling good. Day 4 in a row this week in the gym. So enjoying going to the gym. It brings light, wake up, and got that good energy around Ermanni. So I got a new jacket from my man John Yu. Appreciate you over there at Pro Sports Zone. Go pick something up. You see what it is. Detroit Red Wings.
Oh, you got some good drip today.
Can I add a little sauce?
Oh, yeah. A little bit of sauce.
Let me ask you a question, Matt, as I swing it over to you and say happy afternoon or good afternoon to you. Is this Ohio State colors or are these understood in Detroit metropolitan area to be the Red Wings colors? I'm going to catch some flack today.
It's Red Wing red. It ain't scarlet.
Thank you.
That's Red Wing red. And
like,
Patrick Kane plays tonight.
There you go.
The
This
debut
is for Patrick Kane.
against the Sharks tonight at the at Little Caesars Arena. So looking forward to that game. Red Wings are hot.
I just understood that as one of my colleagues and really favorite people, Big Brother Darren McCarty, like I feel like I'm grandfathered to wear this color without it being Ohio State, Ryan Ermanni.
Look at that. How about it? Hey, we got lots of Lions talk today. Tons of Lions talk. Top 10 Thursday as well. But I do want to start with this report from On3 Sports that Michigan is working on a contract extension for Jim Harbaugh worth $11 million per year. The last hurdle is a written commitment from Harbaugh that he will not pursue the NFL after this season. After 2024 only can he look at that. Richard Johnson is the person who has put out this report on 3 Sports. And Braylon, I got to tell you, $11 million, 5 years, that's a significant commitment to Jim Harbaugh. The one caveat is that he cannot explore NFL jobs after this season. After 24, 25, he can do whatever he wants. But after this season, he cannot explore that.
Look, I think it's absolutely fair. I think Jim Harbaugh, based on what he was brought here to do, he changed this program. Listen, I got so tired of watching Michigan games knowing they were going to lose to Ohio State. I got so tired when my brother was at Minnesota. I went to the Minnesota-Michigan game. I walked down that tunnel, and I saw the energy that Minnesota had. This is Minnesota we're talking about in 2018, and I knew that they were going to beat Michigan, and they did beat Michigan. I was so tired of that Michigan, what that Michigan represented. He changed the narrative. He's changed it since he's been here. You see what he's done this last 3 years, not even coaching the last 3 years, the last 3 games of this season. #1 in the country. This is what we hired him for. This is what we paid him the big bucks initially for, is to come here and change this program around. Every year for the last 3 years, they've had a chance to play for the playoffs. He absolutely deserves this money. But at the same time, I understand on the other side of Michigan, it was like, look, make sure you say that just this year you'll sign through. After 24, 25, you can do it. Because they don't want to be like the head coaches of college football teams and have to recruit their coach the whole year round. So I think you're paying a guy $11 million who hasn't won a national championship, but he's changed the program. The money is worth it, and I think their ask is worth it as well, Maz.
With all that money that Michigan has in the coffers, I think they should apologize to this man for basically taking his manhood away from him a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and knocking his salary down below guys. You know, he was up there. I think Tom Allen made more money than him at Indiana. I think he should get a nice signing bonus on top of this contract as well, because when it comes down to it, he is going to be the second greatest coach in Michigan.
I think a kid wants to get some kid ran in here to get his hair cut, almost ran through the glass. Tom Mazaway, he wanted your job.
Yeah, well, he can have it.
Point taken, though. I get it.
Here's my thoughts on that. I know Ryan lobbies on the side that you do, Maz, and I don't have a point with that side in terms of Michigan. They took his money and they took his manhood, but I do I do ask you guys to look at one thing as it relates to this apology. Everybody was on board with firing Jim Harbaugh after the 2020 season.
Yeah, I'm more in line with you on this.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
like Maz, when you say that, everybody was on board.
I was as well, but I think I'm wrong too. And I admit I was wrong.
But why do we have to be wrong? Why can't we say in one instant we said, you know what, Jim Harbaugh was brought here to do a deal. He couldn't do a deal, and not only is he not doing that thing, he's finishing third in the Big Ten East. He's finishing second in the Big Ten East. He can't beat Ohio State. He can't win games against top 10 opponents. He can't win bowl games. We were fine then. Then, after COVID, they turned things around in 2021. Then we can say, you know what? I'm glad they kept Harbaugh. Harbaugh's the better coach now. So I think two things can be true. I think at that particular moment, everything that was going on, like Ward Manuel fought to keep Jim, which a lot of people don't know, fought to keep Jim. You keep Jim. Then he just dock his pay. But now since then, he's turned this program around and he's fought the way in which he did. No one could have been in his space that Jim Harbaugh wasn't how he operated just this season alone, especially the last 2 years. So he earns the money now.
Matt, you took this conversation down a road I didn't anticipate going down because I didn't even consider that from a couple of years ago. But now that you bring it up, I almost think that if you look at it in those terms, do you know how easy it would have been to fire Jim Harbaugh after that 2020 season in which he was 0-5 against Ohio State, probably would have been 0-6, probably would have lost that game by more than 40 points.
2-3 against Michigan
State.
Lost
to a Michigan State team that I think had 2 wins as well, and one of those wins came against you with Rocky Lombardi as their quarterback.
Hey, don't disparage Rocky.
You have got to understand how bad things were at that time.
I remember.
It is almost Michigan not apologizing to Jim Harbaugh. Another way to look at it is maybe Jim Harbaugh owes it to Michigan for sticking with him through those rough times to sign this deal. So there's two different narratives you can go down this road, and I just think when it's all said and done, you don't even have to go back there. Jim Harbaugh loves being the coach at Michigan, and Michigan loves having Jim Harbaugh as their head coach.
Yeah.
That's what you focus on now. And I think above anything else, this is a job that Jim Harbaugh can have for the next 15 years. He doesn't have to move his family somewhere else to only lose that job 4 years from now when he wears these pro players thin. And then you get another job 4 years, and then you get another job. And then by the time you look at it, you've moved around 4 different times in the next 15 years when you could just stay in one place, have a lot of success, and be paid handsomely.
I hope you're right.
Let me ask this question, though. Can you actually lay it out for me again, Ryan Ermanni, pause, as it relates to what they're asking of him to write out and which year it affects?
They are asking him for 1 season only.
Okay.
After this season, to not go look for an NFL job.
Right. What? That would make sense. Like I can't see them giving him a signing bonus today, and then he goes and look for a job. Right?
I think it's more than reasonable.
So yeah, it's more than reasonable. Maybe would it be 2025 is the year that he has to make sure?
After next year, I believe as I'm reading this report.
Yep.
That's how I read
Okay.
it. Now the report could be wrong.
Got you.
And if it is, we'll change our opinion on it because we'll get new information. But according to this report from On3 Sports, which is a pretty legitimate organization,
It is.
okay?
Yeah.
According to this specific report, it is he has to make a commitment that he will not seek an NFL job after this season only. After 24, after 25, whatever, then feel free if you want to explore something. But after this season specifically, you can't do it. For $11 million for 5 years, I think it's a pretty reasonable ask.
May I?
By all means.
Why bother putting that in? To me, that's just stupid.
That's what I was
Why
about to
put
ask.
it in?
Yeah.
Just sign the contract. You're getting $11 million a year. What NFL team is going to give you more than $11 million a year right now? Nobody. Nobody's got it better than us. That should even be a caveat in this deal. Here's the deal, Jim.
Clip that.
Thank you for getting us to the playoffs 3 years in a row. Let's win the damn thing this year.
Yeah, I actually was writing down Maz at 211 because that was great. Nobody's got it better than us. Maz is right, and that's what I was about to come back to, Ryan, is I wanted to change my opinion. He doesn't need to sign it. They don't need to have that happen. This is Michigan. You guys got here together. Like, for however you want to look at it, Ryan Ermanni, Michigan as Regents, Michigan as Ward Manual, Michigan as Michigan to block him, and then Jim Harbaugh and what he did, they got here together. They kept him. He dropped his pay. He changed his recruiting style. He changed his coaching style. Michigan got here together. You don't even need to have him sign this. I think this is kind of extra at this point. I'm like, I would prefer they didn't have this, because then I would feel more confident as an alum and fan of the brand. I would feel more confident if they didn't have it to sign something, because then it's like, well, I only signed it because they made me sign it. It seems like you're entering like the relationship on the wrong foot yet again.
I think it's minor league.
Am I wrong?
I think it looks minor league.
I could
to
be
put
wrong.
That in. I do.
I don't
Here, sign this, but you have to stay here.
I don't hate what you guys are saying, and again, I almost feel a little irresponsible talking about that particular clause, because again, that is the report, but again, I don't know if that aspect of it is true.
Let's just say it is. and
Let's just say if it is true, I guess I can understand it, because here's this $11 million. We really don't want to negotiate against. We don't want to keep going back and forth here. If you go to the Chargers, if you go to the Raiders, they give you a $12 million offer. Then I got to come back and offer you $14 million. Maybe that's why you don't do it.
What's Saban make?
Saban makes about $12 million, I think.
If you're right there with him, you got no bitching.
Well, I mean, again, I think that might be one of as a negotiating reason. Hey, look, we got $11 million for you. It's the best we can do. Yeah. You're the second highest paid coach in college football. We don't want you to go get a $12 million deal from the Raiders or the Chargers or Carolina or whoever, and then you come back to us and say, well, I'll sign up for $14 million.
How much money do you need?
Well, that's not for you or me to decide.
Basically, that clause keeps him from putting them in a bidding war.
Right.
Okay. That's why the more information you have, you get more ideas and more people. Yeah. Okay. I understand.
There you go, guys. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. We'll talk a little NFL. What the Saints general manager said about you, Lions fans.
Ooh.
Incredible. But first, a message from Dispo.
That's right. Now open till midnight. Dispo Romeo, Michigan's largest cannabis mall. 21 and up you have to be. Recreational only. But guess what? They got the best flower. They have the best oil. They have the best ways to consume your cannabis products. They got the best people that work there, too. You walk in, you're like a kid in a candy store. Dispo Romeo is the place you want to be. Dispo Romeo, your local plug.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the Steak Shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or order online, fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com. Hey, welcome back. Lions and Bears this week. We're going to talk to Jason McKie. He is the former NFL fullback, Bears sideline reporter. He'll join us coming up in about 15 minutes from now. Talk about the Bears and Lions round 2 in that series. Lions a 3.5-point favorite on the road against those Bears. And we'll talk to Matt Broder as well coming up hour number 2. This was interesting yesterday, Braylon. James Houston spoke to the media, talked about coming back this season and what his plans are. Here's him talking with Matt Broder.
Life could be so much worse. Like, you're in the NFL making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know what I'm saying? They're paying you to get back healthy. So it's like, bro, like, I look at life just like, you've been given so much, like, take everything that you're given and try to expand it as much as you can. And so I'm giving everything that they're giving to me as far as rehab and training. I'm trying to take that and expand it as much as I can. So when I get back on the field, I'm that much better.
You gotta understand about guys in the NFL, everybody comes from different walks of life. Everybody comes from different places. Everybody starts in a different place in their life, and they get to this position with a professional sports team. So he's looking at it from where he's been. He's looking at it where he could be, and that's a positive attitude. When you got a guy that is that grown, that mature, to have that attitude, Ryan Ermanni, you got a guy that's going to be there when he's supposed to be there. You got a guy that's going to work as hard as he can. You got a guy that's going to push the envelope to get back from his injury. And I hope he can get back for the season. I hope he can get back and be that same person. But at least listening to him, I know he's doing everything in his power to get back, because he's right. You know, he's got a great life going on. He's here with a great team, great organization, great fan base that wants to see him on that field, wants to get him back. And I think he's going to push to get back. And when he does, can't wait to see him make some plays out there. Last year was magical by him.
James Houston feels like a guy that we as a Lions fan base were robbed by in year 2, because here's a guy that came in last year like gangbusters. 7 games, 8 sacks. What's he going to do healthy with a full season this year? And we have not been able to see that. And maybe I think you'd have to say that a big part of the Lions' struggles defensively is because of all these injuries, namely to a position group where they're thin on talent to begin with on the defensive line and at edge rush.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why when we were talking the other day, we were saying you got to give the Lions some grace on the defensive side of the ball. They were planning on having James Houston this year. They were planning on Aiden Hutchinson not getting injured to a certain extent. They were planning on Brian Branch playing the whole season. They were planning on the free agency, the splash that they made in free agency with Emmanuel Mosley and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They were planning on these being players that they would have, and they don't, so they've had to pivot this season. So hopefully you can get some of these guys back, because these guys can play. You're talking about a guy right there that has 9 sacks last season, C.J. Gardner-Johnson when he did, etc. Getting these guys back can definitely help that Lions defense, which is going to help the offense.
They need to be more consistent defensively. There's no doubt about that. Caught up with Aiden Hutchinson yesterday in the locker room. He talked about this team's need to be consistent.
Yeah, just executing and being all on the same page, and you know, I mean, it's just, I mean, you said it. It's the inconsistencies. It's, you know, it's sometimes it feels like we're 3 and out and just playing at such a high level, and sometimes those drives are just 15 play touchdowns that we let up, and right now it feels like it's one or the other. So we got to just be overall more consistent.
Crazy how in the span of 2 years you can see the guys start to mature, guys start to change. Like, he's got a different haircut.
Right.
He looks older already. Aiden Hutchinson looks like a 3-4 year vet. I love to see it, man. I'm a Michigan guy, man. I'm looking at my young players, but he's right. You know, it's one of those times where it's time for the defense to step up. It's time for the defense to make these plays, in which we saw when this defense is operating at a different clip. We saw when this defense is playing together, when everything's working well. This is not a bad defense. There's some good key players on this team. I think Aiden is starting to feel that sophomore where he's ready to make a play. Like, he's been bogged down a little bit. You got 12 games. He's got 5.5 sacks. Not necessarily the speed that he had last year in terms of the stats. Aiden looks like a guy that's focused. He's dialed in. He's quiet, because he's studying what they're going to do in Chicago, and everybody's double teaming him. I told you the Michael Strahan story. Like, when they double team you, when they're doing chips on every play, you got to take it as respect. Now, you know how you keep that respect? You start to find ways to get off those double teams, get off those chip blocks. All the great ones do it, and we believe that 97 can be great. It's time for us to start seeing that down the stretch.
Refresh my memory, Braylon, on Bosa, the Bosa boys.
Yeah.
Did they hit it right off the get-go?
So Nick Bosa,
They had a lot more help. What was it?
So Nick Bosa was 7 sacks, I believe, his first year. Then he exploded on the field. That is for his next year. I think he had 15 sacks or 16 sacks. First year he was 7. Joey actually had 11.5 sacks his first year, and he missed. This is still 16-game season, and he missed the first 3 games. Remember, he held out. So he missed the first 3 games, still had 11.5 sacks. So You know, he's right in the ballpark. He's right in the ballpark. But that second year, both brothers really took that next step. The Bosa brothers, the Watt brothers did the same. I think J.J. Watt had 18 and a half his second year. So the second year is when you really take that jump. That's what we're waiting to see. We're putting him in this category with these guys. I mean, it makes sense. They all look the same. They're all Big Ten schools. He's in that category. Now is the time. Your team needs you. You want to take that jump? Number 2 should have been number 1 overall over Trayvon Walker. Now is the time for you to be that number 1 pick, which I believe he can be.
And we are talking about future Hall of Famers here, too.
Yeah.
I think that is worth pointing out.
But you want to draft one of them.
No, yeah. And maybe that could be the case. Year 3, year 4, you got to give the guy a little bit of help here. And you just took away injury, took away his most reliable compadre there along the defensive front. Aleem McNeil was pretty much one of the only guys up and down that defensive front that was really helping out defensively, get after the quarterback. Josh Paschal has been absent. Josh Paschal hasn't done much anything. Romeo Okwara from time to time will flash, but that's it. No consistency there. My guy, John Kaminsky, I don't think I've called his name but one time this year.
That was the first game.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is not getting any help. We saw Baldinger show the one piece of video where 3 different linemen from the Green Bay Packers, the right guard, the tight end, and the running back, got after Aiden Hutchinson. It's like teams, offensive coordinators plan to block 97. Somebody else has to get some jobs done too. You just have to.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And another thing that doesn't help Ryan Ermanni is the secondary. Like when you got a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, obviously he's fighting off chip box, he's fighting off double and triple teams. You're not getting any push on the other side, the opposite, the right. You're not getting. But if you can't get defensive backs to hold their men for longer, if you can't get defensive backs to hold their guys down, if you will, so you can get some of those coverage sacks. Like that's what also helps the defense. You play in unison, correct? If the coverage is there, you can get coverage sacks. If the guys are getting to the quarterback fast enough, you can start to get some of those flimsy interceptions because they're just trying to get rid of the ball. They're going to have to start getting some of that playing together as a complete defense. That's what I want to see what Aaron Glenn has up his sleeve for the Chicago Bears game. I don't want to hear about who's not here, who's not active, who's hurt. I want to hear about what's the plan with the guys that we're going to war with on Sunday.
No doubt about it. And one of the guys that they're going to have to get after is Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a guy that had over 100 yards rushing against the Lions.
That was his first game back.
Yeah, no doubt. And keep in mind, this Lions team is ranked 5th in the NFL in rushing defense. They allow 93 yards a game. In that first game against Chicago, the Bears more than doubled that. Over 180 yards rushing, over 100 yards for Justin Fields. Here's what Hutch had to say about facing that dangerous dual-threat quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, just him being such an athlete and, we're just trying to show him a bunch of different looks and, with the zone read stuff and how we attack it as a defense. And I think we got a good plan this time. So just trying to limit his athletic ability and limit how much he runs the ball. And, because he's going to get yards, but just limiting the damage is all.
Justin Fields is the type of quarterback that this franchise has struggled with from here to kingdom come. They've never played against a dual-threat quarterback, a running quarterback, and had any success. You saw what Lamar Jackson did. And mind you, Patrick Mahomes is not a running quarterback, by the way. But Lamar Jackson torched him. Justin Fields torched him. Jalen Hurts torched him.
Yeah.
So they've got to be much better against Fields in this one than they were last time around.
They definitely got to be better against it. Look, at the end of the day, they have to assess it for what it is. He's a quarterback that hasn't been able to prove to get the ball down the field. Yes, he's had a couple splashes here and there to DJ Moore, who's a hell of a wide receiver. DJ Moore is a hell of a wide receiver. That's why he garnered so much in the trade with the Carolina Panthers. But we know he's not a guy that can push the ball down like that. We know he's not a guy that can sustain drives. At least we haven't seen it through this offense. Maybe he'll be that with another team. But right now we haven't seen that. We've seen some flash in the running game. And then we've seen him do some things that weren't so smart. We've seen him be a not-so-good quarterback the majority of the time he's been there. That's how they got to operate. He's a guy that I don't believe can beat you. Don't let him. What happens in the NFL with guys like him that have some athletic ability, guys that can make moves here and there, you give them confidence, Ryan Ermanni, they become a different person. Don't allow Justin Fields to get confident and think he's a better player or that team that he's on is better than they really are. You got to keep him in check early.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Jason McKie. He is the Bears sideline reporter, so we'll get all things Chicago Bears from Jason McKie, former NFL fullback. We'll do that next, but first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, fellas, wintertime in Detroit's always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort chicken bowl. But you want to start off with a great breakfast. The stuffed potato pancakes are back, as well as the classic lumberjack and Santa Fe garden omelets. Also, the new apple pie hotcakes are too good to miss. And finish off your meal with a delicious gingerbread shake, all from your local Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Ermanni Edwards, Tom Mazaway. We got Pete Spivak and JB in the house as well. Talking a little Lions and Bears. Round 2 this year. Lions got the best of Chicago just a couple of weeks ago, despite 4 turnovers from Detroit. So we go to Chicago now and bring in Jason McKie, 9-year NFL vet. He's the Bears sideline reporter. You can follow him on X at JMac37. How are you, Jason? Thanks so much for the time here in Detroit.
Doing good. Getting excited hearing you guys talk about this matchup on Sunday. The Bears get an opportunity to right their wrongs, a game in which everybody here in Chicago feels like Detroit stole from us. So we're excited to get the Lions on our home turf and to right our wrongs and see what we can do on Sunday.
You know what, Jason? You mentioned that. How deflating is it for a team? The Lions had no business in losing that football game. It did feel like they winning that football game. Even look, I even feel like they lost the game. Yeah. But they did steal that game. How deflating was that for the Bears?
It was real deflating because, going into that game, the Bears, it was Justin Fields' first game back off injury. And the Bears have been struggling all year, as we've all seen. They've had their ups and downs. And that was a game in which the Bears came out and played really well, and nobody expected them to. And then, you play an entire game well, and then it comes down to the fourth quarter, and you just have that disaster. You just unravel and gift one to Detroit. It was real deflating, especially after the game, me being in the locker room after the game and seeing the guys' mood. I mean, they were dejected, they were upset, they were in shock and disbelief. And when you have something like that, your season can continue to go down, or you can battle back and try to right your wrongs and rebound. And that's what they did last week against the Vikings. So they've had a bye week after winning against the Vikings, and now they get another opportunity to, like I said, right their wrongs against a very good Detroit Lions team.
Hey, Jay, man, quick pivot before I ask you the real question, man. And shout out to one of my family NFL brothers in arms, man. So good to talk to you. How was that locker room with Spice, freaking Adams? Then you got Alex Brown, and then you also got Lance, and then you got Peanut Tillman. I know that locker room used to be S's and giggles.
Man, those guys are just straight clowns. You know what I'm saying? Straight comedians, great football players that are great people. So to be able to go into battle each and every Sunday with those guys, but to have the type of locker room that we had, a bunch of great men in that locker room that had great personalities, I think that attributed to a lot of success that we had while I was here in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that's why our bonds remain close to this day.
A lot of success you guys did have. A lot of respect to you and those Bears teams. But getting back to full circle and the current situation with the Bears, what's the energy right now with the Chicago Bears? Obviously, it's so much on the outside. We look at it. Is Justin Fields going to be the quarterback of the future? Is he not? What's up with the coach? Is he not? What are the Chicago Bears? What are they planning for this week? What is the energy this week? Is it more so the future, or is it team in front, Detroit Lions?
Yeah, I mean, the mindset has been the same all year for the Bears. They've been able to, maintain camaraderie in that locker room and not really listen to the outside naysayers. And in the mindset of the players, from what I've been hearing throughout the press conferences this week, is they're trying to go out and win one game at a time. Right now, it's a 5-game season for them. A lot of evaluations are left to be made. Coach Matt Eberflus is under evaluation. The future of Justin Fields here in Chicago is under evaluation. Yeah. So everybody on this roster knows it's a 5-game evaluation, but not just for the headliner guys. For the lower end guys on this roster, their jobs are at stake as well, because whether or not you bring in a new coach, into this organization, those guys are going to have to either impress the current coach that's here if Coach Eberflus remains the head coach of the Bears next year. But if there's a new coach, these guys know that they have to have some good film out there if they want to remain on this roster, or if they want to be on an NFL roster in the future. So it's a lot at stake here in Chicago with these last 5 games.
So refreshing talking to a cat that knows the behind the scenes stuff. It's like we're speaking the same language. Last quick question on me before I turn over to Maz. I know you want to talk about the other side of the ball. I want to talk about my position, DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a guy, we saw what he could do at Carolina. That's why the deal was made for him. We saw what he can do when you get him the ball. Talk about what DJ Moore can bring to the Chicago Bears if they just put the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, DJ Moore is such a dynamic receiver. We know he generates a lot of explosive plays that we haven't had here in Chicago in a long time. And he's a guy that, if you give him the ball on a screen pass, he can turn into a running back and take that, that 2-yard screen pass and turn it into a 20 or 40-yard gain. So having his ability to be able to generate explosive plays, I mean, you see why he's been, so far the MVP of the Bears this season. And when a quarterback has a true number one receiver in which he knows he can go to him at any time, and he knows that number one receiver is going to make that big play, I mean, it's such a luxury for the quarterback to have. But in terms of the receiver position, we need other guys to step up. Darnell Mooney hasn't had the year that we envisioned him having. Tight end Cole Kmet has done some good things, but, there's some other guys that need to step up in that wide receiver room, because as we move throughout the season, if defenses take away DJ Moore, now you're really hamstringing this Bears passing game.
Hey, Jason McKie joins us, the Bears sideline reporter, played in the NFL for 9 years, fullback. Of course, I want to ask you about your career in a minute, Jay, but I want to ask you about the guy that left the Bears, and David Montgomery comes over here to Detroit. You pair him up with Jahmyr Gibbs. What's your take on the Lions running game?
Yeah, it's a great pair. Those two guys in tandem, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I was a huge fan of David Montgomery when he was here. I think he was a true blue-collar, running back in terms of what we've had here in Chicago for a long time. A guy that's effective running on the interior, moving the chains, and a guy that's, had good longevity in terms of being healthy here when he was in Chicago. And to lose a guy like that, a guy who was one of the heartbeats of that locker room, one of the guys who was one of the tone setters, on the offense, I think it really hurt. And, Detroit got a good one, and then you pair him up with a guy that you guys drafted in Jahmyr Gibbs, who can take that ball and, really take it a distance. And, those two guys in tandem have done really well. And I think that's the reason why you see Jared Goff having such a good year, because as we know, if you want to be a great quarterback in this league, you want to be able to lean on an effective run game, and Detroit definitely has that.
Yeah, definitely. We hope it continues, by the way. Nothing against the Bears. Take that, Jay. I don't want to hurt your feelings. Hey, for all the teams that you played for, what was your best time in the NFL, the best coach you played for, your best experience in the NFL?
Yeah, it's going to be the Bears without a doubt. Lovie Smith was a great coach, but more importantly, he was a great man, and he treated us like men. We went about our day, and it was a situation where, Lovie cared about us as people and not just football players. So there were many a times in which guys was able to go up to his office and actually talk to him about life, related things that didn't entail football. So when you have a coach like that, who believes in you guys as people, who cares about you guys as people, and he shows that on a daily basis. You run through a wall for him, and I think the type of guys, like I mentioned earlier, that we had in our locker room, it's easy to see the type of success that we had. And if you want to have success in this league, and Braylon will attest to this, you got to have close-knit guys in that locker room. You got to be able to trust the guy you're lining up next to. And when you have that type of camaraderie, you have that type of passion for your brother who's going out there with you on each and every Sunday, that directly translates to wins and success on the football field.
That's awesome. Hey, now that you're on the other side of the deal now, instead of getting interviewed, you're doing the interviewing. And your first year on the sidelines in Chicago, what's that like in historic Soldier Field? And what's your take on this whole media business now that you're in it?
Yeah, it's been fun. When I first retired, I did a lot of TV, and I didn't like it because you had to put a lot of makeup on, and I got a face for radio, so I moved to the radio side. And the sideline thing is awesome. Being right there on the field, it's like you're back in the action, and I love it that I'm back in the action, and I don't have to wake up, Monday morning bruised up, banged up. I get to be there in the action, but go home healthy, and it's just a different view. And it just enables me to be around the guys, but it also gives an opportunity to, to talk to some of these young guys, to mentor some of these young guys who are not on the air, to help them throughout their career. So, a lot of times during the interviews, me and the guys will talk for like 10 minutes before we actually start the interview. And if I can just give them any veteran tips or any veteran nuggets or knowledge that I can give them, that's what I want to do. Obviously, the NFL is a tight brotherhood, and we want to see all our brothers succeed. So that's the beauty of being able to have this opportunity and covering the game, but also being able to mentor some of these young guys on that football team.
Hey, Jason, one of the things that I was struck by during the Lions player availability yesterday was how the players were talking about just how hard the Bears are playing, just how hard they play. And it struck me, and I look at their schedule here. They won 2 out of the last 3. 3 of their next 5 are at home. If you can win out, this is a playoff team. If you win out, and you look at these games, there is no team on this schedule that Chicago cannot beat. Do they feel like Sunday's game is a little bit like a playoff game against Detroit?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of the guys, like I mentioned earlier, throughout the press conferences that I've heard over there at Hallis Hall, the guys are taking this game Sunday like a playoff game because they know they got to get one in order to be able to, finish the season on a high note and maybe sneak into the playoffs. And they got some winnable games down the stretch. We've got the Falcons here at Soldier Field. We've got the Cardinals here at Soldier Field. We still got to go up to Green Bay, our last game. But the Bears like where they are right now. And, if you look at it in the past, the Bears have played well against the Lions. And, they're excited about getting this opportunity on their home turf to rebound and to really finish the deal, in which they didn't do, up there in Detroit. So I know a lot of the guys feel good coming off a bye week. This is the healthiest this team has been. Looking at practice the other day in terms of injuries, everybody was available except for linebacker Noah Sewell. So, they got everybody back at hand, and I know they're excited to kick this thing off on Sunday.
Talking to former NFL fullback J-Mac, and now he is sideline pro with the Bears. Man, that's crazy how we're transitioning in terms of football to now opposite side and what we deal with. Now we probably give guys a little grace like, oh, I kind of understand certain things. It's kind of cool. But time to talk about the real guy I want to talk about. Wanted this guy for the Detroit Lions. I thought that he would help Aiden on the opposite side. You know where I'm going. Montez Sweat, since he's been a part of the Chicago Bears, the defense has turned around. The team has turned around. The energy has just gone up with the Chicago Bears. Talk about what he's meant to that defense and that team since the acquisition.
Yeah, if you look at the addition of Montez Sweat, and here in Chicago we call it the Sweat Factor, and you look at it in terms of the takeaways, the Sweat Factor. You look at the takeaways the Bears have generated the last 2 games. You got 7 interceptions out there in Detroit. They had 3 against Jared Goff, and then they followed it up with 4 against Joshua Dobbs. This defense is playing at a whole new level, and Montez brings about energy, but the thing that Montez is, he's a multiplier, right? And what I mean by that is, before the addition of Montez Sweat, the only marked guy on their defensive line was Yannick Ngakoue. Now you can't just lock in and slide your protection or focus your protection on Yannick Ngakoue, right? Yeah. You've got to look at Montez Sweat, and now what Montez Sweat does, his ability to get to the quarterback, but also to create pressure allows one-on-one matchups for the other guys along that defensive front. So you look at guys like Justin Jones, who was non-existent before Montez Sweat got here. He's had some success. You look at Yannick Ngakoue, he's gotten better. You look at the secondary, they're getting their hands on footballs and they're turning the ball over. So it was a great acquisition by Ryan Poles to make that move, bringing Montez Sweat here. And now you have a guy on this defense, right, on this defensive front that he can be one of your pillars for a long time, and that's one thing that you look at this defense in terms of the levels. Defensive line, you've got a stalwart in Montez Sweat. Linebackers, you got Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, who's playing at a Pro Bowl level this year. And in the secondary, you have some young guys, Jaquan Brisker at safety. He's an alpha male out there on the field. He's vocal. He brings a lot of energy. Jalen Johnson, obviously, is in a contract situation, but he's been playing well the last few weeks. So you have key pieces at every level of this defense, and we got to give credit. As much adversity and as much scrutiny that Matt Eberflus has been under here in Chicago, he's done a great job calling his defense.
You bring up Ryan Poles' acquisition of Montez Sweat. Does an acquisition like that give Poles an extra year? Or do you still feel like his job is on the line here?
Number ones coming up.
Yeah, you've got two. Yeah, exactly. You've got two number ones coming up. Do you let him make those picks?
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's,
Y'all
it's
trying to get my boy in trouble, man. Don't answer. Blink once.
Hey, man,
he needs to get out here.
He's in the media. He's in the media now,
But I got to support him.
Hey, he's in the media.
Also,
the brotherhood first. Okay, the brotherhood first. I got to make sure my boy is good, man. Go ahead,
Bray, man, we got to call a spade, man. I think it's a 5-game audition. I think right now, I'm not sure where, GM Ryan Poles is leaning. I'm not sure where President Kevin Warren is leaning right now. I think everything's still up in the air. You do have an opportunity to get one of these top quarterback prospects in the draft. And for me, just looking at the landscape of things, it's hard to envision that Chicago would do the same thing that they did last year. Trade away that number one pick. Obviously they got some things back for it in DJ Moore. You solidified that right tackle position in Darnell Wright. But it's just hard for me to see them passing on a quarterback that can really change the tide of the future. Now, that's hard for me because I'm a huge Justin Fields fan. But like I said, I think it's really a 5-game evaluation. I still don't think they know exactly what direction they want to go in with the future of this team.
Hey, Jay, last one. I'm a big horse racing fan. One of my favorite racetracks
I knew it.
in the world was Arlington Park. And those SOBs bought that property and knocked my track down. Are they going to even move there, or are they trying to hold hostage another place? Or are they going to play where they belong in downtown Chicago at Soldier Field?
Man, you know what? It's still up in the air. The funny thing is they bought that property and they cleared the land out, but now there's reports that the Bears have been looking at outside of Soldier Field, the South Lot. They've been looking at land out there to see if that's a potential landing spot for this stadium. But, for me, I'm old school. I played in Soldier Field for a long time. I hope they stay there. But from a fan's perspective, going to Soldier Field, the parking's terrible. It's a smaller stadium, and the Bears can't monopolize on other activities and events that they can have there at Soldier Field. So when you have headliners like Beyonce coming here and Taylor Swift, they're putting on concerts at Soldier Field. Well, guess what? The Bears don't get any of that money, and they see Jerry Jones down there in Jerry's Land having boxing events and seeing all these concerts, and they're sitting there salivating and say, hey, we're missing the ball. We got to get our stadium up and running so that way we can monopolize on not just the football side of things, but other opportunities outside of football.
If you had
crooked there,
but if you had a dome stadium, your Final Fours in Chicago every year.
But put it there where Soldier Field
National
is.
Championship games
WWE.
in Chicago, WrestleManias in Chicago, no doubt about it.
Big WWE fan over here, man.
Hey, Jason, thanks so much for the time, my friend. We can't thank you
We
enough.
loved it.
Enjoy the game on Sunday, and we'll be talking to you down the road here.
No, thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me. You guys
Thanks,
be safe.
Yo, Jason, all love,
You
bro.
got it. Jason McKie, sideline reporter for the Chicago Bears. You can follow him on X at JMac37. We are going to take a break. Come right back. More Lions, more NFL. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Cintron.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Centron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcentron.com/Vegas and buy Centron at your local Meijer store. Centron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Centron. drinkcentron.com/Vegas. Over to you, Mr. Ryan Ermanni.
I want to tell you about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign, it tells the bad guys one thing:
stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
As the great Mike G says in the chat, more Maz, less Stanford. That's right. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located on Woodward Avenue in the great city of Ferndale, just south of 9 Mile. And of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Ryan Ermanni, welcome back. Time as away. Ermanni Edwards with Maz. First off, the interview with Jason McKie. Can I say something about what he said? And I'm going to relate it to something else. He talked about it's a 5-game audition. Yeah. That's what he's talking about. And he's talking about for Ryan Poles. He's talking about for Justin Fields. He's talking about for the Chicago Bears. Eberflus, exactly, 100%. I'm looking at it. Don't let this be a 5-game audition for Ben Johnson. Like, it goes back to what I'm talking about yesterday. It goes back to going up there, playing football that you know can win. A lot of times, coaches, and I'm not saying this is what he's doing at all. This is just one thing they want to be leery of. And I talked about it yesterday, and I'll say it again. A lot of times these offensive coordinators that are about to get a coaching job, or they might be up next, or that's their next move, they try to get real cute with the play call, and they try to come out here and try to trick you, show you how smart they are. They try to do all different types of things and catch the Bears off guard, if you will, or the next game try to let me outthink Sean Payton and show I'm really good. I'm actually a better offensive coordinator. Play the football that got you here. Like, that's one thing I think Ben Johnson can do to help this team. I think Ryan Schottenheimer, when I was second year with the Jets, like towards the end of the year, he was just trying to show guys how smart he was as offensive coordinator, trying to get jobs.
Which was dumb, by the way.
We lose to the Bears. We lose to the Patriots. We lose to the Dolphins that we were better than. I mean, we lost 3 of our last 5 games and still got in. Don't try to overthink it. Do what got you here. The offensive line is the strong point for the Detroit Lions. The running game went on, allows Jared Goff to be Jared Goff. Don't try to do something different because you're trying to worry about the next phase of your career. Right now, you're the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Be the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions.
What bothered me of what he said was how Montez Sweat has picked everybody else up on that defense. Jason Jones was a 0. Now he's playing great. All the linebackers are playing better. They've getting all help in the secondaries because they're rushing the passer. They're getting pressure on him at least. And that's where we missed the boat. And I know everyone's going to tell me, hey, Maz, we weren't one player away. But you don't know what that one player could do for the other players. This team was so close last year. They didn't make the playoffs. But if they did, they were peaking. And the Lions are not peaking right now. And we got to hope in the next 5 games they find that mojo again. And they got to get healthy. That's number one. Healthiest team wins in the NFL. You need a little luck as well. If you remember the Philadelphia Eagles, when they won, they did it without Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz goes down, oh, that season's over. That season's over. No, not really. Who came in and became almost the MVP of that league?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. Unbelievable. Yeah. You never know what the one player that you add to that team can do for you. And they missed the boat, man. They missed the boat.
They may have missed the boat before the trade deadline, but they did bring in Bruce Irvin, and I know Bruce Irvin is old man Bruce. I know he hasn't played in forever, but Bruce Irvin in his first game got you a sack. Bruce Irvin in his first game shows you the physicality that he still retains within inside himself. So I think, hey, look, maybe you didn't get the Montez Sweat that was the guy and the name and a $100 million player. Maybe you didn't get Chase Young, who should have been the #1 pick overall or #2, in which he was and was up for the Heisman. But you got a guy in his first game, got you a sack. And those sacks and that stop against Derek Carr, they came, in my estimation, Ryan, they came at pivotal moments in the game.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I understand that. It's Maz, I totally understand what you mean, and I don't even disagree with it at all. It's just clearly not how this general manager operates. Right.
And you know what? He's drafted us a hell of a team.
And he's not going to hold up $100 million on one guy, not right now, because you're probably going to have to pay Amon-Ra $100 million after this season
and your offensive line.
Next season, your offensive line. There's plenty of guys to pay on this team moving forward to have a consistent, long-term approach to this football. And look, we're talking like this season is over. There's a lot of football left.
God, yeah.
And they just need to hit their stride. Jared Goff talked about the urgency of getting going here, playing well down the stretch.
Yeah, just turn our urgency up a little bit and know what time it is, and know that kind of everyone is in that mode of you have to win these games, and everyone has things that they're going for, and no one's out of it, and everyone's trying to win the game. So knowing that you have to turn your urgency up a little bit and stay process oriented and trust what you're doing daily in practice. But yeah, it's certainly your intensity turns up a little bit this late in the year.
Yeah, it feels like in the final quarter of the season, that's when the teams separate themselves. Who is in this thing, who is not in this thing, who's taking it seriously, who's a serious contender, and who's a pretender. And I think it starts this week in Chicago with the Detroit Lions. They need to put together a full 60 minutes, not 6 minutes, and then hang on, which they had to do last week. Last week, you were like, oh, this is going to be a laugher. And then
I watched that game again last night.
It's 24. You're sick.
I watched the first quarter and the fourth quarter.
24-21. You're like, what just happened?
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. But I think there's a difference between last year and this year, though. Last year, down the stretch, Ryan and mine, they're trying to win. They're trying to win every game. At first, it's just, hey, let's get a win. Let's see where this takes us. And then 3 turns into 4, 4 turns into 5. And then you look up, you're like, oh, man, we got a chance at this thing. This year's different because there was so much pressure with each game they went into last year because of the bad start, because of the 0-6 start. Every game freaking matters. So every game, what are you planning not to do? Make mistakes. You can't live like that. You can't play football like that. Hell, we can't work this desk like that. Not as scared to make mistakes. You make them all the time. This year, Ryan and Monty, they're 9-3. They're going into this week. They're 2 games ahead in their division, or a half a game or a game and a half ahead over the Green Bay Packers in their own division. They're gonna make the playoffs, and they control their destiny as it relates to the second seed, etc., it's a lot easier. It's a lot less stressful going into the season this way versus last year. Last year, they're scared to make mistakes. They're not scared to make mistakes now. Now they're just about closing games. When it says 0-0-0, make sure you're winning. I think that's how they're operating.
Let me play this for you. Jared Goff talking about playing in Chicago weather. Braylon, there might be some weather coming this weekend. Here's what he had to say about that.
You'd like it to be 70 and sunny every time, but you can't always have that. So I don't know, anything that's not that would be somewhat unfavorable, but you plan it every week. We've been lucky to be in a dome a lot this year, but if you play outside and you play in a little weather, we deal with it. I've had some of my best games in weather, and so yeah, we'll see.
So 36 degrees, a little bit windy, but no precipitation. That comes on Saturday. Conditions fairly decent for an NFL football team in Chicago in December, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I was looking at the weather conditions when I played there in December. It was, temperature outside was 19, felt like 8. There was a wind, light wind north to the 10, and precipitation was 99%. It's one of those things, man. You know what you're going to get in December in Cleveland. You know what you're going to get December in Pittsburgh. You know what you're going to get December in Chicago. Man, as you watch enough games for 1,000 people. Am I lying about these places?
No,
you know
of course
what
not.
you're going to deal with in those places. This is why guys are professional players in the NFL. These are why they're the best of the best. These are the players that were chosen by this GM, etc. They know the conditions, and they're going to practice them. They're going to practice, wet footballs. They're going to practice wind. They're going to practice crowd noise. They'll practice all those things, and they'll be ready come game time.
Interesting to know as well, this is the Lions' last game outside.
Yeah, until the playoffs.
Until perhaps the playoffs. And if
that's the second round.
If they play outside again, chances are they've won a playoff game.
Correct.
Right?
I've got that counted already.
Yeah.
When I first moved here 30 years ago, in 1993, the thing that I got the kick out of the most, I'm driving here and I see signs for Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, obviously Chicago. I'm like, man, you have to understand what a geek I am. And I know most of you people know I am.
So you were happy to be this close to
I
those
was so
cities?
close. I'm like, oh, man,
I
I'm in the Central Division. Back then it was the Central Division. I'm in the AFC Central. I'm in the NFC Central. Where I grew up, it was New York this way, New Jersey that way. That was it. 2 signs.
Right.
That's all there was. So I just get a kick out of I love our division. And I love the cities that they play in. That's why I want them to stay in and play in Soldier Field. Let's face it, they're going to have a dome eventually, probably within the next 5 years. They're playing in a dome. And I understand. I just wish they would play it down there on Lake Michigan somehow. Knock down Soldier Field. I know they have the beautiful wall around it. Knock it, knock the inside down. And like he said, maybe the South parking lot, maybe they could find a place down there.
Maybe they can.
Maybe they can.
We'll see. We can only hope.
Jared Goff would definitely love it.
Hey, guys,
I'll tell you that for sure.
I want to do a Top 10 Thursday. We'll do that coming up in hour number 2. We'll talk to Matt Broder as well, but I do want to look at the playoffs next. Pro Bowl votes came out as well. Where are the Detroit Lions in this? We'll get all that next, but first, a message from Swiss.
Yes. Do you have football on the brain like us? Of course you do. It's already been an awesome college and football season this year, and fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with the pros at Swiss Insurance. They cover us here at WSN, and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com, or as always, give them a call at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort Dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At work,
and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Hey gang, come to Andy Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register to win a trip of your dreams, an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. You can walk in anytime. It's open 7 days a week. It is wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
How about that? Woodward Sports Network. Hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway, Spivak, Bryant, as in JB, Jeremy Bryant.
Where's the jersey
that
at,
guy
man?
is here with us.
You got blessed us with a jersey. I'm always looking for the jersey drip, bro.
Oh, yeah. I got to start wearing some more jerseys.
Yeah, come on. Got to get that drip. Got to get that drip. Before I get to the playoff preview, I do want to take a minute to address something and show you what Mickey Loomis said, the Saints general manager. Actually, my co-host today on the 11 o'clock newscast at Fox 2, Amy Lang, she was in New Orleans for the Lions game. She said that the flight was all Lions fans. The building was all Lions fans. She had never seen anything like it. Here's what Loomis said today. Yesterday he said this. We're used to having a large number of Saints fans at some of our away games. We're not used to having that volume of visiting fans at our games. And so I would say, look, our stadium sold out on a season basis. That's disappointing to have that many tickets that are resold and, given to visiting fans. But I understand the economics of it. I understand that season tickets are expensive and you can't go to every game, so you're going to pick and choose to sell some. But I was a little caught off guard by the volume. As you said, in the lower bowl, that was unusual. And look, I understand it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. This is a very reasonable take, I think, by the general manager of the New Orleans Saints. And on the other end of it, just goes to show you how these Lions fans are desperate for a winner.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's to the point, Ryan. And this isn't me trying to say anything about what you said. I don't even think it's a take. I just think it's real. I think it's real spit. Like, you're like, I hate that this happened.
Real spit. I like that.
Real spit.
It's real spit.
I just learn new words every day.
Yeah.
The more you get comfortable, the more you just kind of open up and bring your natural flair. Like talking to J-Mac, he made me realize a couple of words I have in the chamber. But no, this is real. Like you said, it's real spit by him, man. He's saying, look, I don't like it, but look, the Lions, they came in, they showed up, they showed out. I just had lunch with a friend of mine, Dave Logan. You met Dave before.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Dave Logan. What's
Shout
going
out,
on,
Dave.
brother? Detroit Pistons, etc. But he went to the Kansas City game. He just came back from the Saints game. He went to the Chargers game, and then he went to insert another win here. I figured out. But he's gone to every one of the games this year. I asked him, I said, did you do that last year? Did you do that the year before that?
Lambeau.
Did you do the? Yeah, there it was.
Yep.
It's Lambeau. So he's gone, and this is him. And he has a busy schedule. So I know if he's doing it, you're starting to see Lions fans say, we always would have traveled. We just wanted y'all to be good. So I think
want to travel to Vegas.
Lions fans.
In February.
Got to call off.
Absolutely.
In February.
There you go.
All right, that's the one trip I'm going to take.
That'll be your next road game. Braylon, let's take a look at the playoff picture through Week 13.
The Dolphins.
And the side on the right, if you're watching on YouTube, and again, hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Subscribe as well. The side on the right is the NFC. The side on the left is the AFC. You see right now, 1 seed Philadelphia. That could change this week. They played Dallas. 2 seed San Francisco. 3 seed the Lions. Even though the Lions and the San Francisco 49ers have identical records, San Francisco wins the tiebreaker with Detroit. So Detroit, the 3 seed, they will play the Minnesota Vikings, who I said, look out, if you have to play the Vikings again for the 3rd time in 4 weeks, that spells doom to me a little bit. The 4 seed Atlanta, they'll play Dallas. Dallas at 9-3. Despite that record, they would be the road team in each of the games that they play as a wild card.
Unless they meet the Vikings or the Packers.
Absolutely. Now, Green Bay, Minnesota, and the Rams and the Seahawks all have identical 6-6 records, but it's the 2 NFC North teams that take the spots in the playoffs. So lots of competition along that NFC side.
A lot of competition, but I'm not necessarily worried about Minnesota. I understand we may have to play them 3 times, but Ryan, Mads, the way I kind of look at it is this. They got to go against the Bengals, and we saw what the Bengals were against Drake Browning last week. They look really good on offense. They look really good on defense
Jefferson's
as well.
back.
They got to play. But he doesn't know him, man. Like, this is Josh Dobbs, his new quarterback. Like, just because a star player comes back, he doesn't necessarily have chemistry with Josh Dobbs. He doesn't know his timing. He doesn't know what type of passes that he throws. So that's not just going to translate into what Justin Jefferson has done fantasy-wise the last couple of years. Then they play the Lions. Lions are going to beat them down in my estimation. Then they play the Packers, a Packers team that's playing much, much better. So in my discernment, by the time the Lions play the Vikings for the second time, Vikings will be dead in the water, and they were already, in the words of Kenny, Shaq, and Charles, and Ernie, they'll be going fishing.
I don't know about that, man.
All right.
I don't know about that. They play nothing but one-score games. Remember that.
But they do not look like the same team when he first started, talking about Josh Dobbs. Then now they look like they're going to be a different team.
Let's see what the week off does for them.
100%. We'll see.
If you look at the AFC side of things, I'm not sure any football fan would be shocked to see that the 4 division leaders are Miami, Baltimore, Kansas City, and Jacksonville. But I think if you went to the casino in Vegas or wherever prior to the start of the NFL season and you said, I got $20 on Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, and Cleveland being the wild cards, you could probably make a lot of money. If Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, and Cleveland turn out to be the wild cards, man, holy Toledo.
That's the thing that's so crazy about the AFC side, though, Maz, is one, every team on that side, I can see winning a first-round game. Like, I can see if Joe Burrow.
Even the Steelers?
I could not see the Steelers or Indianapolis
hold on,
winning.
Excuse me. What I meant to say, you didn't let me finish.
No, we did not. We had to jump on you for that one.
But I didn't say it right. Pause. You're absolutely correct. I meant in the hunt. I was looking at the teams in the hunt. Look at the teams in the hunt.
They're better than the teams that are in the playoffs.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
I trust the teams in the hunt to
Those
actually
4
win playoff
are better.
games. I'm like, I can see the Texans and C.J. Stroud win a playoff game. That sounds crazy. Sean Payton and Russell, if Russell doesn't play like he played last week, I can see that.
They almost won.
Josh Allen looks like a better quarterback under Joe Ward, Joe Perry, excuse me, the former offensive coach for
Brady.
Joe Bray, the former offensive coordinator for the Penn State Nittany Lions. And then obviously the Bengals. We saw what they did with Jake Browning, and who's to say what they'll look like when Joe Burrow comes back. So their teams in the waiting are better than their teams that are 7, 6, and 5, in my estimation, Ryan Ermanni.
There is something about the Buffalo Bills.
Sneaky.
That this game, Bills at Chiefs on Sunday at 4:25, is the game of the weekend.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
And
Jim Nance is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, friends.
And if Buffalo wins that game, which I'm calling it right now, Buffalo is winning this game against Kansas City.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
That to me is I cannot wait to just sit and enjoy this game.
One of two things is going to happen. Either the Bills are going to win, it's going to bury the Kansas City Chiefs' chances of sneaking in the Super Bowl. And yes, their record will still be better, but I think it'll be demoralizing if they lose. I think if they lose, talking about the Chiefs, I think their playoff run in terms of Super Bowl is done. If the Bills win, which is the same thing, I think you're seeing a team that's going to play with some different conviction. I think you're playing with seeing a team that was like, we should have beat the Eagles. I think you're looking at a team that the next week is going to have a lot of confidence. But if the Bills lose, then I think that franchise is due for some major shakeups in the offseason.
Bills off the week. They have the week off, and they played really good against the Eagles. Should have beat them. I think they're playing now with less pressure on them, actually, because no one's even looking at them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're just they're just the Bills. They're in the hunt. That's it. I think they'd probably be in good shape. I guarantee you the Bills will make the playoffs.
More excited to watch Eagles-Cowboys or Bills-Chiefs?
I think they're on at the same time.
No, they're not. Eagles-Cowboys is Sunday Night Football. Okay. Why is it? Why is it that the NFL schedule makers give us everything or nothing?
Yeah.
I mean, you get this, like this week in the is like NFL porn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's good.
Like every level. I mean, even Lions-Bears to me is like, I'm really excited for this Lions-Bears game. And then you've got the 4 o'clock game. Hell, even at 1 o'clock, you've got Rams and Ravens. I think that's a pretty decent game.
Yeah.
But Seahawks, 49ers, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys. This is
49ers Seahawks is really good.
I mean, especially how the Seahawks team played last time they were on TV.
They're desperate now.
They're desperate. They actually look good. Yeah, I mean, you brought up the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. It's probably definitely the game to watch. But Eagles and Cowboys, man, like I want to see what it is because it's the NFC. And I think now that I'm paying attention to the Lions, now the Lions, my NFC team, much rather watch that NFC than the
I got to
AFC.
put up with Collinsworth though.
Man, I can't. Yeah,
he's sorry about that.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
So we apologize.
Like the roller coaster. He's riding himself backwards.
Guys, I promise, Pro Bowl leaders, does it matter to you? Do you care? Also, Top 10 Thursday, all that
What you
coming
got
up.
against Pro Bowlers?
I just don't care about individual awards. But first, a message from Feldman. You're a Pro Bowler.
Exactly. You hater?
No, I'm not a hater.
No, I'm just messing with you. Feldman Auto is Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with 18 locations. There's a Feldman Auto dealer near you, probably in your own backyard. All you got to do is go to feldmanauto.com. You can find that out since 1996. That's right. The year of ATL Olympics, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. Do yourself a favor and take advantage.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Hey, let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned Bad Boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, SnowX plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. You could buy it, you could rent it, 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com. If you're into this kind of thing, the Pro Bowl votes are out. The first ballots essentially are out. I'm not a big postseason award guy. I do enjoy when my guy's up for the Heisman, but other than that, I'm not a big individual award guy. But the Pro Bowl,
go ahead.
The Pro Bowl leading Pro Bowl vote getters have been announced, and there are no Detroit Lions that ranked first or second in any category. Anybody? Anything to say?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were still going.
No.
Yeah, but the reason why I do like Pro Bowl, Ryan and Ermanni, take it for a second, especially when it was what it was, when it was kind of like the right way of just here's your one, here's your two, and everybody else is called an alternate. Now everybody's called a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, like when it was that way, it's okay, cool. It's Pro Bowl 1, it's Pro Bowl 2, and then everybody else is alternate. They're not even called Pro Bowl. But the one thing you do, like, this is how you keep in touch, Ryan Ermanni, who's the best players in the league. This is how you figure out who's the best wide receivers, who's the best offensive lineman, who's the best D tackles. Is because of these nominations and things like this, you start to track people's careers. If you don't have these individual awards, if you don't track Pro Bowl, then when you get to the end of people's careers, it's like, how do I say this individual made the Hall of Fame? How do you discern from one player to the next?
By the way, the old Pro Bowl in the 70s and 80s, guys, was a very good game. Matter of fact, in the 70s, they actually had uniforms. They had different helmets. They had the N, they had the A. They had their different colors. The AFC was red and white. The NFC was blue and white. They really played. It was a good game. Now, if they just call it the Pro Bowl games, it's, just do a bunch of bunch of stuff. It's in Orlando. It's on a Saturday. It might be on a Sunday. It doesn't matter. It's before the Super Bowl. It's on the in-between week. But the one I don't understand is, how is Penei Sewell not on that list? And I know he is ranked a little bit lower than that, but this guy has been a road grader this year for the Lions. I don't understand why no Lion at all is on this sheet. Amon-Ra St. Brown, our tight end, Sam Laporta. I know they're young guys and all, but I believe that they are Pro Bowlers right now.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Laporta has more touchdowns than Kittle and Travis Kelce, more catches than Kittle. Popularity contest.
How about Penei Sewell?
Penei Sewell, younger player, maybe another year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is his third year.
Yeah. So what position is he in right now?
Penei Sewell is fourth among offensive tackles. So
let's put the Lions.
That's
up
pretty
there,
darn
Pete.
good. So here's where the Lions come in, Braylon. Jared Goff is ninth among quarterbacks. This is from Dave Burkett. Sam Laporta, fourth among tight ends. Amon-Ra, fourth among wide receivers. Penei Sewell, fourth among offensive tackles. Frank Ragnow, fourth among centers. Aiden Hutchinson, seventh among defensive ends. And Jake McQuaid, 10th among long snappers. So you do have pretty high up there, Laporta, St. Brown, Sewell, and Ragnow, all fourth at their respective categories.
And what I would say to this is Lions fans, be calm. Lions fans, calm down and relax, because everything is no longer against the Detroit Lions. Like, it's a set list. You look at CeeDee Lamb, you look at Tyreek Hill. I mean, you're talking about one of those wide receivers is on pace to go for over 2,000 yards this year. The other wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb has had over 125 yards the last 3 games, I want to say, with the Cowboys, and you see how good that offense is operating. So 4 is not bad at all. I mean, if you look at this list last year, do you have anybody that's 4th? If you look at this just the year before that and the year before that and the year before that. So this is a great start for the Lions. The season isn't over, but this is what you want to get. You want to have guys on this list, and you want to have guys high up. In order to be in the NFC Championship hunt every year, in order to be in the potential Super Bowl hunt every year, you got to have guys on this list. You got to have guys that rank high. When they do the top 100 players, notice guys that get to Super Bowl, they got some players ranked in the top 10. They got players ranked in the 10s, 20s, and 30s.
In the meantime, before we get to Top 10 Thursday, can I just ask you guys a couple of questions, just looking at first and second here of the Pro Bowls? I'm going to ask you, would you rather Tua Tagovailoa or Dak Prescott? If you could,
if you're giving it to me
I'm giving you,
I'm taking Dak.
Dak's my fantasy quarterback. If I can have him
right now
for a quarterback
for the Lions,
I'm taking Dak. Like, Tua's a system quarterback, and it's it's McDonald's system. Like, he's a really good quarterback. You saw it at Alabama, but that system perfectly fits him. I think if you bring Dak Prescott here, Ben Johnson and Dak can start cooking. I think if you bring Tua here, it would take Ben Johnson some time or insert offensive coordinator to set up the offense. So give me Dak.
Travis Kelce or George Kittle?
Right now, today.
George Kittle.
Yeah, I just don't see I don't see Kelce the way he used to be.
He's breaking down.
I think he's really broken down. Mm-hmm. You might see another big game out of him, but Kittle's good when he's on the field. When he don't miss games, I got to go Kittle as well.
And he's interested in doing other things. You get to a point in your life where you've been doing the same thing so long, you're interested in doing other things. I do believe that Travis Kelce, football is not number one anymore.
Right. Let me ask you this question.
He's taking a beating.
When somebody like this, you're Travis Kelce, and I'm telling you, you got 2 Super Bowl rings. You've been to 3. They're already telling you you're the greatest tight end of all time.
I don't hate it.
And by the way, you date Taylor Swift. Yeah. So now you start to look, well, wasn't the goal to win the Super Bowl? Wasn't the goal to make money? Wasn't the goal to be in the Hall of Fame? Wasn't the goal to be one of the best ever? He's already done all that. It might be the best ever. What am I chasing at this point?
Both brothers are going into the Hall.
Now I'm injured. My brother's beat up. I'm beat up. Jason Kelce, by the way, that brotherly shove, he's gonna fall. He's gonna feel that on his back, like when he retires, because all of the weight really goes on Jason Kelce. He burrows down. He burrows low.
Did you see? I saw why that works
because
I
of
can
him.
Tell. Well, him and all the offensive linemen, they do something different that nobody does. They put their heads on the ground. They put their heads on the ground and you roll against them.
Yeah, that's healthy.
Everybody else shoots out.
Shoot
their
down.
offensive linemen, their heads go straight to the ground.
Yeah,
and they walk out.
Eventually, it will be stopped.
Yes,
Someone will figure it.
But that's the difference. Why does Philadelphia's tush push work and nobody else works? Because everybody else shoots out trying to power the guy. They go straight down.
The reason why theirs works is because Nick Sirianni and the offensive line coach have convinced them that spinal cord damage, CTE potentially, and all that's okay. Like, I'm telling you, that's not okay. Like, I watched them break it down. I looked at Jason Kelce and, like, the pressure he takes. That is going to have some effects seriously soon.
Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, probably both going to retire this year, so they could both go into the Hall of Fame together, by the way.
Oh,
how about that?
Okay. I think I would take Hawkinson over those two.
I got three more for you. Myles Garrett or Nick Bosa?
Myles Garrett.
Me too.
Okay. TJ Watt or Micah Parsons?
Micah Parsons.
Me too.
Okay. Last one I have for you. Roquan Smith or Fred Warner?
Fred Warner.
Me too.
Okay.
I think Roquan Smith is a better linebacker. I think Fred Warner is a better leader and linebacker.
All right. There
Now,
you
that
go.
Micah Parsons one against TJ Watt,
It was tough.
that was a toughie.
It
But
was.
I'm going to go with the younger guy, and I'm going to take Micah.
Agree. I go with the guy that plays multiple positions.
And
too.
not beat up as much.
And at the rate they got him going.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, guys. Hey,
Good
coming
stuff
up
from
next,
you.
it's a Top 10 Thursday. We'll get to Braylon's list coming up next. Matt Broder at 3:36. But first, a message from the Hamlin Pub.
Have you ever wanted a bar where you're a regular? We have just the place for you. Head to one of the Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone's a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday, that's tonight, or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today. Enter to win. Register at drinkcitron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. drinkcitron.com/Vegas, gentlemen.
All right, welcome back to Ermanni Edwards with Maz. Maz, quick response to someone in the chat. They were asking about the Pro Bowl in Hawaii, on how it got set up, how it was. Could you bring your family? Yeah, everybody brought their family, and we had to pay for everything. But you make money from coming to the Pro Bowl. It's like $25K.
Yeah,
That's what they pay you, and then there's also bonuses down there. But it's 2 different hotels. You got the Iolani, which is where all the players stay, Nike, where everything goes down. And then you have the Hilton, which is in the city. So the Iolani is about 35 minutes up on the coast, and then the Hilton is downtown. That's where most of the family stay, most of the friends, and they commute back and forth. And then you guys go out downtown sometimes. But the Iolani is kind of like the wife and like your kids, and maybe like your mom and dad.
Got it.
Like everybody else is down at the Hilton though. But it's fun times. I mean, the way it's set up is you really just don't do much, a lot of autograph signing for people. Practice is 25 minutes, and then you're back at the pool sipping on, margaritas or,
I know
Hawaiian punch, the Iolani punch, as they call it.
I'm an NFL wacko.
Yeah.
I am. But I used to like the Pro Bowl. I did. But I did.
But also,
it was the week after the Super Bowl.
Right. I know.
I know. I'm just trying to explain to the people. Tell me it's
people
garbage.
Weren't making $500 million though. Like guys weren't like your quarterback now is $500 million in Patrick Mahomes. I know we use him as a go. Let's just say this: your quarterback wasn't making $50 million. Your wide receiver wasn't making $30 million. So now you got guys, you got coaches, you got GMs, you got owners, you got fan bases that are like, I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes like in getting tackled.
I forgot who Sean Taylor
after
lit
the
up.
Super Bowl.
Who did Sean Taylor light up?
The kicker.
Vanderjack, was it?
No, it wasn't Vanderjack. It was like the kicker.
Hold on, I'm looking.
It's like number 30. It was like number 13.
Oh
he
my
was on
God!
the ground
Did he light him up?
But this is a top 10, as Ryan looks that up. It is a top 10 Thursday, and the topic I decided to choose was we're talking about snubs.
Brian Moorman.
He was 13, right?
Yeah.
So Florida State gets snubbed. We're talking about snubs. So let's talk about the biggest snubs or the most notable snubs in the college football playoff
Here we go.
era. Here we go. Do you have the 2014 first? Oh, 14? Yeah, we'll go in order. Let's start at 14, Pete. If you do, please, 2014, you remember that Ohio State won the national title 12-1. This is it right here. 12-1, Ohio State won they won the national title, but they lost a game. I believe they lost to Michigan State. TCU and Baylor both had the same record. Baylor co-champ. That's how they did it then. They didn't have the game back then. TCU 11-1. Their losses to Baylor. Baylor 11-1. Their losses to whoever. I can't remember. But they were both excluded. They all had the same record. They were co-Big 10 champs, Big 12 champs. But they didn't get in. But this is before the Big 12 added the Big 12 championship game. So maybe you can say Ohio State made it because they won an actual conference game. We don't know. All I know is they got the same record almost, and they got snubbed. Go to the next year, if you will, Pete. All right, here we go. 2016, I believe. Ohio State made the cut at 11-1, but 11-1, they weren't the conference champ. Ryan Ermanni.
Pete, drop that box so we can read the graphic. Sorry,
they lost to Iowa. I do believe that's when Iowa beat the dog snot out of them. 11-1 Ohio State they didn't win the conference. Penn State actually won. They were 11-2, but they didn't get in. No two-loss team has ever gotten into the playoffs, including Penn State that actually won their championship in that great game too against the Wisconsin Badgers. You remember that game? That was a hell of a game.
Penn State, man, they had a couple of chances only to do that Big Ten. That was one of them.
As Laszlo Holmes say, let's do that Big Ten. Who's next? 2017? All right, now, Maz, you will love this year. This is year Alabama. They lose to Georgia, but they still make it into the Final Four. UCF most notably goes 13-0. They crowned themselves their own.
Yeah, they did. I remember that.
They had the billboard. They did it. They gave out national championship rings.
They won their bowl game, too.
They did. Actually, they beat up a good Auburn team.
Did.
And guess who played for that Auburn team? Bo Nix was the quarterback.
How about that?
Bo Nix was the quarterback. There you go. Wisconsin also won that. No, you're good. Wisconsin also won the Big Ten that year. They got snubbed, and Ohio State was snubbed as well, 11-2. Who cares about Ohio State? All right, next one. 2020. This is the COVID year. Notre Dame got in at 10-1. Ohio State, who only played 6 games due to COVID, they won the Big Ten championship. That's going to be a year like we can just throw 2020 away forever and never talk about it again.
Yeah, put the Dodgers in there for that one too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't count.
Texas A&M 8-1, they get snubbed. Somebody else I want to say was something in it was Texas A&M. Texas A&M. Coach Kevin Sumlin, or was Jimbo there yet?
I don't think so.
This is Kevin Sumlin still. They were 8-1. They got point out. And then obviously the last one is this year. Florida State not getting it, and also Georgia. I go back to it. If we're just doing the best 4 teams, Georgia lost 1 game in the last 29. So I think they might have got a little shafted as well. Ryan, what do you think about those snubs? Are they snubs or are they just
I love it. That's a great picture of Gabrielle D. Phillips as well there in the Florida State garb. The great alum of Florida State. I almost think it's better for Florida State not to get in.
Because then they would get...
Because they get what if they got blasted?
What if they get blasted now, though?
Oh,
we don't know that.
Yeah.
This game don't count, Bray.
I think it does for Florida State.
But Florida State's that, I mean, it's one of those games where, like, now guys aren't playing their main guys.
Right.
A lot of guys that are going to the draft aren't going to play. So to your point, it's not going to have the same luster as it would have had if they would have met in the Final Four. But it
would be nice to see them beat Georgia, though.
Yeah, but we saw what Florida State was against Louisville. We saw what they were against Florida, and it's one of those things where if my job is to pick a team so that when the game is on, like, the sponsors are going to get the most bang for their buck, the fans are going to get the most bang for their buck, the people at home watching, having parties, having events, celebrating the holiday season, celebrating the New Year, they're going to get as much bang for their buck as opposed to, yeah, let's put Florida State in there because they're deserving with their third-string quarterback. I would have a hard time trying to make it right for the kids versus everybody else.
Hoof Hearted in the chat says, if Florida State does beat Georgia, they'll declare themselves the national champs, like
for
Central
sure,
Florida did.
No doubt.
If they do that, they are national. They're split. Remember back in the day, was it my senior year? USC was undefeated. Oklahoma was undefeated. Well, they put them 1-2 in the Orange Bowl, which I went to. And then Auburn was also undefeated. They played who knows who. They went undefeated. They still call it a split. But nobody gives them credit for the 2004 season. It's only you ever talk about. Yeah. It's USC.
No doubt. I absolutely. If you go back even further than
97.
that.
Nobody talks about Nebraska.
Well, in 2006, I think Michigan got snubbed.
Florida. That's because their president was on TV lobbying. Well, nobody wants to see Michigan play Ohio State
because it was
SEC
two
has
back
been
then.
at this BS for a long time.
It was just 2 teams.
Refresh my memory on that.
Michigan and Ohio State 1-2 in the final regular season game of the year. There was no Big Ten championship game, but one played 2 in the BCS national championship game. So the winner of that game, Michigan lost by 3 points at Ohio State, number 1 Ohio State. So Michigan believed they were still the number 2 team in the country.
Sean Crable.
And flee on the personal foul penalty on the sidelines there. And so Michigan's sitting there like, we're number 2. We just lost to number 1 by 3 on a BS call, maybe.
No,
it was legit.
That was legit. He's an idiot.
But it was a personal foul penalty. And Michigan was like, well, we shouldn't drop past 2. And Florida, Urban Meyer lobbied, and they got in there.
Who did they wind up beating to get up there?
Hold on,
I don't know, but they ended up winning the national championship. They beat Ohio State that year.
I was about to tell you a story. I got a funny story about that game, and then I get into that team. So that 1-2 team. Anyway, Florida got in. Florida beat the Bucks. They scored the opening kickoff. Kid again, he breaks his ankle in the end zone, and then they didn't score again. They got beat by 800. And Michigan goes to the Rose Bowl and gets beat by 800 to USC. So 1-2 didn't even matter because Florida was the best team. But that story about going to that game. So I went to that game. It was a Saturday it was a Saturday night. We playing the Steelers in the morning, and this brings me to Aaron Rodgers being mad that there's snitches in New York in their locker room. Did you hear that?
No.
Because he's mad about the information, how it got out. How did people find out about Zach Wilson and not wanting to play and all that?
That doesn't bode well for next year.
Exactly. So, but they're snitches because they shouldn't have got that information. So I go down.
Snitches at Michigan too. Remember? How did that info get out?
Man, I don't know, man.
There's a rat. Go ahead. Tell me about more rats.
I forgot the story.
Aaron Rodgers talking about snitches. And how organizations.
So here we go. Yeah. So I go to the Michigan game. I'm on the sideline. It was down in Columbus. I caught a helicopter and then left like right up when the Sean Crable play happened. Left to get back to the airport to go back to Cleveland. We had meetings at 8. That's when meetings are. The night meetings they start at 8. So they had to de-ice the plane because I had to fly back on the plane. Couldn't fly back on a helicopter. De-ice the plane. I'm like, man, I'm about to be late. Like, just what I need is to be late. I got a Mike Hart jersey on. I got a big hoodie. Got a big diamond chain on and all this. And so I get back. PR person, Amy, I can't think of Amy Palcic, who now works with. Amy's amazing, by the way. She works with the Texans.
I'm sure she really helped people facilitate their jobs.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Amy Palcic does an
Mostly
amazing
bad,
job.
though.
And she's now with so when J.J. Watt was doing all that stuff with Red Cross, she was the one always next to him. Like, she's worked with them for a long time. But anyway, I get there. I'm 7 minutes late. I come in. I got all this Michigan stuff. The team's looking at me. Romeo Cornell's like, "Come on, Braylon. Come up front. Why were you late?" I'm like, "I got all this Michigan shit on." Like, you should know where I was. So anyway, the next game, so I still start the game. We playing the Steelers. I had my best game to date as a Cleveland Brown. Had 9 catches, had 133 yards. Troy Polamalu walked my ass, but that's neither here nor there. Like, the first question I got after the game, you know what it was? "So tell me why you were late to the meeting, the team, the night before." This is when I first realized that
rats.
100%.
It's Cornell. It was Romeo.
Nah, it wasn't Romeo. I know who it was. It was a safety, Brian. Anyway,
Son of a gun.
Who was it?
It was a safety. I hated that dude, man. Brian. I can't even think of his last name. He played for Brian Russell. He's a douche.
Who is he?
A douche.
Never heard of them. What a douchebag.
Yeah, he was safety, but
ass.
So anyway, I found out it was snitches on every team back then. I'm like, how do they know that information and I was late? It was Brian Russell, but neither here nor there.
Braylon. Guys, we're gonna be joined by Matt Broder.
He's no snitch.
No, he's not. He's no snitch. He'll join us next. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this just for $10 a month with no commitment. You must remember, no matter where you are, there is always a Planet Fitness nearby, with more than 50 in the Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. So no matter where you are, find a Planet Fitness near you, join today, or check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Broder and Broder.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White and Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Hey guys, when it comes to your pet, do not settle. Do not settle. Give your pet the best. That's why Premier Pet Supply is hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, and over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, even curbside delivery if you need it. Give your pet the best. Do not settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
So the chat is great. So many people in here calling Brian Russell a snitch. R.I.P. Brian Russell. And then we've got people in the chat here saying Neil Rule is a snitch. Sam Flannel is a snitch.
Flannel's no snitch.
Nah, Flannel's not a snitch.
Oh, guys.
Neil, I'm not so sure about.
He's his own man over there.
It's so fantastic. Guys, all right, let's go out to Allen Park now. We'll bring in our guy, Matt Broder. You can hear him weeknights here.
He's no snitch.
8 to 10, Matt Broder.
No way.
Booter and Broder, Woodward Nights here on Woodward Sports Network on our YouTube channel. Of course, our Lions beat writer, beat reporter. Broder, how you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, Ryan. How are you doing?
Doing great, bud. What's happening out there today? Paint a picture for me.
Like an album party.
This Lions team, they're getting ready for the Chicago Bears. This is round 2 with Chicago. They're heading there Sunday to face off with the Bears team that's a little rejuvenated from the beginning of the season. We've seen them make improvements, and now coming off this bye week, this Lions team's preparing for some surprises out of them. They know they're going to be game planned a little bit differently, and they're ready for this Bears team. There's definitely some focused, some really serious focused energy down here. I think the team's going to be ready to go on Sunday.
My buddy Matt Broder, Michigan. Number one, you know what time it is. Matt, just looking at the Detroit Lions with the Chicago Bears game, which they escaped, then the Green Bay game in which they lost, and then the Saints game that got a little fuzzy in there. Are you now looking at this game a little differently because Justin Fields had success last time we played, and we talked to Jason McKie, who's the sideline reporter for the Bears. This team is playing for an audition in terms of who's going to be here next year. Is it going to be Justin Fields? Is it going to be Matt Eberflus? So going into this game, I know this is a long question, but going into this game, is your energy different how the Lions have been playing and knowing what the Bears are playing for?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think this team is so focused on playing their brand of football, getting into their game plan from the start, especially after witnessing the Bears, not witnessing, I guess they experienced the Bears come down. They found DJ Moore that first drive at Ford Field. The Bears got off to the hot start. So I believe that the Lions are going to try to get the ball to start the game or as early in the game as possible and then really pound it with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they want to get back to those ways of running behind their offensive line, letting that dictate the game, which they've gotten away from a little bit these last couple games. And ultimately, their goal is just to put together a complete football game. There's been a lot of positives in the last few games. There's also been a lot of negatives. So they've been spending this time ironing out some of those kinks, working in some new players into this rotation, especially on defense where there have been some injuries and some other players needing to step up. I think they're going to go into Chicago. It's going to be – actually, the weather seems to be changing, but they're expecting some funky weather. They want to get into their brand of football. They want to use that offensive line and dominate from the start.
Hey, bro, the thing to me, the only thing missing on this Lions team is health. That's it. So fill me in on all the guys that are injured. You got Frank Ragnow. You got Alex Anzalone. I mean, you can go on and on and on. You got James Houston, who you spoke to, and we had that piece of audio and video earlier today. We're hoping to get him back. And then, of course, you got CJ, GJ. Go on, man. But what's with this team and the injuries? Fill us in.
Yeah. And I'll start on the defensive line, actually, with the one you didn't name, Ali McNeil, who might be the biggest injury of them all. Going in against one of the top, if not the top pass rush in the NFL now, the Lions pass rush. Run defense. The Chicago Bears are one of the top run defense teams in the NFL. That was if you could look for a strength in the Lions defense, that would probably be it. And losing Ali McNeil is huge. So we expect Josh Pascal to play a lot more inside. Aaron Glenn talked about that earlier today in his press conference. So I'd look to see a lot more of Josh Pascal. And then to address some of the other injuries, I expect Alex Anzalone to play on Sunday. It's not official yet. He feels good. He expects to play, but he had a screw put in his thumb, and there's just a certain pain tolerance, a certain level of something that the doctors are looking for before they clear him for Sunday. And I think that's a big help, going down to Chicago, having that veteran presence, especially with the mobile quarterback. Frank Ragnow is still a little questionable. My gut's thinking they might hold him out for one more game. He might be healthy enough to play, but they might look at this as, hey, let's be a little conservative. Use the advantage we have with this 9-3 record and maybe hold him out. We just haven't got a final ruling on him yet, but his injury is not as serious as it was initially expected. So that's great news that Frank Ragnow is not going to be missing a lot of time. And then to just round off with some of these guys coming back, C.D. Deuce, formerly known as C.J. Gardner-Johnson, expected to come back now around the 20th. This is straight from his social media, so nothing official from the Lions yet, although they're optimistic to get him back sooner rather than later. And James Houston, like you said, talked to him yesterday directly, and he said he expects to be back before the playoffs. It's whether that's
Sure.
for the Vikings game or for the Cowboys game. My guess is he's not going to be there before those two games. So that boost, that pass rush,
Yeah, we
boost
need that.
James Houston could bring could be huge. You're right, Braylon. It could be huge.
How about the guys that you basically just signed a few weeks ago, and Bruce Irvin, who really made a splash last week? They got a sack, and then he got that personal foul when he
Wasn't a personal
when he
foul.
threw Derek Carr into the ground. But that's old man strength. And how about Tyson Alu? Tell me about him, and am I pronouncing his name properly?
Yeah, that's how I was taught it. Tyson Alu. I doubt we see him this weekend, although he did come in pretty good shape. He is one of those guys expected to bolster that defensive line. And one thing I didn't put together earlier in the week when the signing came, he's good friends with Bugs. They played together in Pittsburgh, so I don't know if there was something involved. There's got to be something involved with that signing, both to bring a little bit more out of Bugs or give him some comfort on this defensive line, so those two can make a difference with some of these injuries. And then Bruce Irvin, I expect him to probably at least double his snap count. He had 11 last game. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 20 plus this game. They've been easing him into it, getting him back in game shape. But Tom, you hit it right on the head. He looked pretty good in those 11 snaps. He was a difference maker. One of the two sacks of the Lions and that hit, although it was a penalty, that was a big moment in the game. And even if Derek Carr, we never want to see a quarterback get injured, even an opposing quarterback. That play just alone, if you just look at it without the injury, it was a really good play set up by Aiden Hutchinson being double teamed. Bruce Irvin he knew how to find the quarterback, and he got to him. Unfortunately, he drove him into the ground, but it was a really good play. And I expect to see more of that out of Bruce Irvin. He's not just this 36-year-old who's coming in to mentor guys. He's going to come in to affect this pass rush, hopefully elevate it for the rest of the season.
All right, enough with the undercard. Let's get to the main event. Fighting! About to give me a turn into Bruce Buffer. It's a guy that plays for the Chicago Bears that lines up on the left side for their defense, and there's a guy that plays for the Detroit Lions that lines up on the right side of their offense. It's Penei Sewell. It's Montez Sweat. Tell me how and why Penei Sewell is going to cool off the sweat factor.
Penei Sewell's just going to go out and do what he does. I mean, he's arguably the best offensive lineman in the entire NFL.
Talk about it.
I know people have Trent Richardson up there. There's a lot of other great linemen, but Penei Sewell's having one of those historic years, earning a contract extension. He's going to get that bank. Montez Sweat, I don't want to say anything negative about him either. He's came in and elevated that Chicago Bears team, not just that defense, but that team. They're one of the top defenses against the run, like I said before. I expect Penei Sewell to take that personally. He's one of those guys who doesn't like to see that coming at him. He's going to be driving him the other way. And I got a chance to talk to Jameson Williams for a few minutes before we got on live here. And there's so much we can talk about with J-Mo, but that touchdown he had in New Orleans, he commented on seeing Penei Sewell.
The Motor City comment.
He was diving forward. When you think about that, an offensive tackle like that, who's 19 yards down the field, beating J-Mo to the end zone, that's what this team is built on. Guys like Penei Sewell, guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Penei Sewell is not going to take this game lightly. He wants to send a message both to Montez Sweat and the Bears, but also the NFC North, that we're not taking these last 5 games lightly. We're going for as high a seed in the playoffs as possible.
Hey, Matt, I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned Aaron Glenn had his weekly press conference today.
Yeah.
What did he have to say about this defense? They've played 12 games. In the first 6 games, this defense allowed roughly 19 points per game. In the last 6 games, they've allowed 29 points per game. That's a 10-point discrepancy in those first 6 versus last 6. What can he do now? Aleem McNeil out. What is his plan?
Yeah, well, he didn't necessarily have the clearest plan possible, but his main goal is to continue to get as much as possible as he can, or try to pull more out of the players that he currently has on the roster as he can. And that was the plan all along the season. I know that there's probably some coach talk to sort of block the bigger plan that Brad Holmes with this team, whatever the reasons were that they didn't go and attack not just the defensive line, but the secondary in the trade market, or even some of these free agents that are still lingering out there. Aaron Glenn, he believes in these guys, and he knows he needs to do some more creative schematics in terms of getting these guys in better situations to get more pressure, especially up the middle in that defensive tackle spot, but also working with Aiden Hutchinson to be able to shed some of the double teams, or be able to handle some of the double teams that he's experiencing a little better. He talked about how they watch video of more recently of TJ Watt and what he does to evade some of those double teams. It's going to keep coming for Aiden Hutchinson. He still needs help, but Aaron Glenn, it seems like they're making a more concerted effort to work with Aiden on even up in his game even more. The pressures are great and everything, but he's got to find a way to make more of an impact on the team himself while being double teamed. So I know I just gave you kind of a whole lot of nothing, but they're trying to figure this out. They're trying to put these guys into different spots to make them successful. In the end, it comes out to them executing out on the field.
Check out Matt Broder tonight, 8 to 10 weeknights with our good friend Booner. Booner and Broder, Woodward Nights coming up 8 to 10 here on Woodward Sports Network. And check out
No snitching.
And check out Broder, of course, on woodwardsports.com, our WSN Lions beat reporter. Thanks so much, brother. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You got it, bro. Got to get to a break. When we come back, Thursday Night Football, Pistons with another one. Oh, man, this thing's bad. Red Wings, how about that? At least you got them. But first, a message from Mark White.
Winter is here, and if you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the pinch, we've got some fantastic news for you. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Here's the deal. When you work with a Mark White and Associates realtor, they'll pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. Buying a home just got a whole lot easier. Imagine having an extra $5,000 in your pocket this winter. Ooh. With years of experience and a commitment to making your dreams a reality, Mark White and Associates are your go-to team for all things real estate. This incredible opportunity won't last forever. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 and let them make your winter home buying dreams come true. Visit their website, markwhitesales.com, or call them at 248-290-8242 to hear the full terms of this offer and begin your home search today.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink for Lions VIP Tailgate. Get your tickets today at bullseyeeventgroup.com. Shed 5, Lions home game, Eastern Market. It's the place to be. And guess what? Next home game against the Broncos, it's flex. So it's every 15 game, which means you can come down there and hang out. And it's a Saturday, which means you don't got to go to work on Sunday. So come down there and have a good time. Maybe some you do, but guess what? You're still going to be there. Pull up, show up. It's fun. Drinks, food included. You get to tailgate with fellow Lions fans. Get to turn the city out, man. Look, your team's 9-3. They'll be 10-3 by the time you guys get down there. So come down there, celebrate. It's Detroit Lions. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
All right, gang. Thursday Night Football tonight, Maz. Run this one down for us.
All right, it's Steelers, which I despise. I can't stand watching them against another team I can't stand watching, the Patriots. Ugh. Steelers are home. They were a 6-point favorite at 1 o'clock. What are they right now, Ryan?
They're a 5.5-point favorite.
What's the magic number?
5.5.
Patriots win tonight. It's a 30-year low, guys, on the over-under. It sits right now at 30. It's Bailey Zappi against Mitch Trubisky. Al Michaels might die tonight in the booth.
Oh, my God.
I got this weird feeling it's going to be a great game. Like, I think it's gonna be a great. Like, I'm not watching.
Might be a great finish.
I think I'm gonna watch basketball, which is rare at this time of year. Watch basketball, but I think it's gonna be a great game.
Might be a great finish, but I don't know about game.
Take the Patriots and the under.
We didn't think Jake Browning was gonna do anything last week. I'm just saying.
Patriots and under. The last 3 games, their defense has given up 10 points or less.
With just in theory, with a total that low, you have to take the points.
You have to. Take the Pats and take the under.
Pistons lose by double digits.
But they were winning.
They had a lead at the end of 3 quarters, and they lose by double digits to a team that has won 5 games
They
all
got
year.
blown out in the 4th quarter, Braylon.
Yeah.
And Jalen Duren went down. They get Orlando tomorrow.
All I know is I looked at the stats today because I didn't watch the game yesterday. I looked at the stats today. And I'm like, let me see what the Pistons did. You know, I'm Detroit, a little full of energy. I'm like, it's Memphis, no Ja Morant. I say, no, maybe this is the one to get us back. Desmond Bane had 50.
49 points,
That's
dude.
50.
Yeah, that's a 5 spot for me.
That's a 5. Desmond Bane.
Dang, man.
Are you ready for this?
on.
The Pistons
Not Desmond Bane.
are 4-43 in their last 47 games. 4-43.
That's one of those things, Ryan. I'm gonna let you take over and let you end it and close it. Somebody's got to pay for that,
Bro, it's over.
am I wrong by saying somebody's got to pay for that?
I don't care if they fire the strength guy.
Somebody, thank you.
I don't care
Bring
who
back
you,
Arnie Kander.
I don't care who
That's
you
my
fire.
guy.
Yeah.
You have to fire somebody.
Bring back
I
Abdenauer.
don't even care who it is at this point.
I want Abdenauer and Kander back.
Fire the ball boy. I don't care.
I feel like the only person the Pistons have fired is the guy that used to dance and provide excitement in the
Jesus.
stairwell. They fired him.
Seriously, man.
The dancing usher is fired?
But he hasn't been there in the last 3-4 years.
That's
like
true.
maybe COVID. Maybe COVID.
They
stopped
probably
him.
thought he got too big for his britches and didn't want any entertainment.
Exactly.
Red Wings and the Sharks tonight. Wings have won 4 in a row. They are hot. Patrick Kane makes his debut at Little Caesars. And the Yankees got themselves Juan Soto. They still have no pitching. And tomorrow we have Jim Leland live on the show. Tomorrow,
great.
the Hall of Fame Tigers manager will join us.
That's great. How about that?
I like that game day, that UWM. Quick wardrobe change, man. I had to
Oh,
put
yeah,
Zach
you
in
got
there.
it. You got that drip. How about those Red Wings? Let's go Red Wings.
Talking about the Red Wings side.
Oh, man.
Drip on,
All right, Bray, get us out of here with that drip.
Look, man, go see the Red Wings. Go watch them, turn them on. Patrick Kane makes his debut for the Detroit Red Wings tonight, who are on a hot streak. I want to say 3-4 wins. 3 to 4 wins. They're doing good. Somebody's not. It's the Detroit Pistons, so at least we got the Red Wings. One more day to talk about the Detroit Lions as they get ready to play Chicago Bears. Will they repeat what they did against the Packers? The answer is hell no. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, watching this. For JB, Pete, I see you, man. Pete was you're a regular veteran now.
Hey, man, I'm running a good show finally.
It's a hell of a good show by you, man. Maz, you know we love you over there. Ryan, Ermanni, my brother from another mother, love you too. He said Maz just wanted to hire another Maz, and damn it, you did.
Oh
so
my gosh,
we
I love
appreciate
it.
you guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is Woodward Sports Network. This is what we do, and we appreciate you.